Welcome, everybody, to the College Football Show on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. It is Caden the Diesel Freak. That is right, it's Caden the Diesel Freak, the most hated Ohio State fan on the planet. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Twitter at Caden the Diesel Freak. This is a very special episode of the College Football Show brought to you by Red Hot Propane. Red Hot Propane. Be sure to get your propane locally right here around the Central Ohio area. Be sure to call Red Hot Propane for all details. And furthermore, give them a shout out, too. This is a very special episode of the College Football Show in regards to not only being, well, a very special guest. And I do remind everybody that y'all can call on in. And actually, we have our guest in the comments. It is Daniel Gygax of the College Football Mafia. If y'all don't know, the College Football Mafia is a show on YouTube here that I follow very exclusively. Be sure to follow the College Football Mafia on YouTube. I posted the StreamYard link for our guest to join, and then also anybody else who has anything else to say. But this is a very special episode of the show. And with that being said, I want to please remind everybody that the College Football Mafia is your station for all fans, including Ohio State, Penn State, West Virginia, and all other fans, especially the Big 12, which this episode is in particular speaking about. And my guest, Daniel Gygax, is a fan of a team from the Big 12. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me today. But I'm all right, so I'm still hosting the show either way. Pardon me for that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to please give a big Diesel Freak welcome and a big welcome to my special guest today, Daniel Gygax of the College Football Mafia and West Virginia fan. And I say this about Daniel. He's one of the guys I truly respect on the College Football Mafia, along with Nate, Moen, and everybody else there, and the Wild U Man. Daniel Gygax, how are we doing today, good sir? Welcome to the show.
I'm glad there was no controversy this morning. Not a single bit. None with the CFP.
You know what, Daniel? I can agree with you on that. There's no controversy, but Daniel Gygax, do you want to tell everybody here on the channel who you are, where you what channel you're from, and where they can find you?
I am on the College Football Mafia channel right here on YouTube. I've been doing a series of shorts. A lot of it has to do with different work things and all the other stuff, but you'll catch me here. And I grew up in West Virginia, lifelong West Virginia fan, went to school at WVU. So that right there just pretty well handles it. I spent 21 years in the United States Air Force. So I'm here in California, was stationed at Travis Air Force Base, 10 miles up the road from here. So that's about it. C5 mechanic. So.
And first of all, I want to get this out of the way. Also, I'm a family member of a military person, so I can say thank you for your service, sir. But Daniel, where can people find you on social media, YouTube especially? Because I feel like people want to know more of what you have to say as far as West Virginia and college football in particular, because your opinions are pretty cool and interesting.
It is at the other Gigax. Spelled that's one word. Here, I'll put it in the comment here, just due to the fact that it would be easier.
Yeah, and Daniel Gygax is one of the West Virginia fans I truly admire, and also his takes on college football. And there's a lot of things I do agree with Daniel on, and there's a lot of things that right now today that I'm particularly going to be talking about with West Virginia fans, especially. So let me get your overall thoughts on this year as far as West Virginia goes, with Coach Rodriguez now being back in the program. What are the things that you are most like? What most sparked and said, "Hey, like could Coach Rodriguez turn this program around within the next maybe couple of years, like 2 to 3 years?"
Well, here's the thing: they went 4-8. That offensive line was awful. There's no other way to say it. It was bad. Defense was kind of okay. They had a couple of issues, especially on like the interior defensive line had some issues. Then the team went through a string of injuries. We were down to quarterback number 4, running back number 5. The defensive backfield. God, we transferred through. I mean, cycled through so many people on the backfield just due to the fact that people were injured, and the quarterback that was QB1 at the beginning of the season broke his foot. There's nothing you can do. You're kind of stuck with that. You're then QB2 got injured, then QB3 got injured. Scotty Fox, who came in, did an okay job, not great, but by the time he showed up, they were 2-6. And everybody was writing the season up for the worst season that WVU's ever had since 1978. They went 2-9 that year. What can you do? I mean, you just go ahead and say, okay, this was the rebuilding year, and next year, hopefully, things will get better.
Yeah, and here's my 2 cents on the matter. I feel like Coach Rodriguez, this is the part of the year. This is the year that he's trying to also start rebuilding the Mountaineer program. So he's starting from the base, and he's working his way up. 4 wins, at least we saw improvement. And then the 8 losses and then also to Texas Tech and the BYU game. I said that was going to be 2 tough games that were going to be really something you guys had to step up in. But I saw, your defense hung in there a bit with, Texas Tech and BYU. I mean, I'm not gonna tell West Virginia fans that they were awful. Oh no. No, West Virginia is just getting started, and Coach Rodriguez is getting back and getting up and running with that program specifically in WVU.
Correct. And it's going to take time. Here's the thing: in 2023, they went 9-4. They won the Mayo Bowl. Neil Brown was a 500 coach, and no better. And he would hover around 5-7, 6-6. Like I said, he had the 2023 where he went 9-4. Last year it was 6-6, and everybody was wondering, is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? And then they just said, okay, we're going to bring somebody else in. I am not a fan of the way Rodriguez left the first time in 2007. There's a really good book on it called Waiting for the Fall that talks about everything that happened during that stretch of time. If you find it, read it. It's a really good book. So whenever you get right down to it, hopefully next year things will look a lot better. Sure as heck couldn't look any worse.
No,
I mean, it
I
was
can
bad.
agree with you. I can agree with you, Dan. But in my like when Coach Rodriguez first left WVU, that was kind of like, why the heck did you leave the program? You already took West Virginia almost to the playoffs and almost took them to the national championship at that peak. When it's like,
Yes.
now you left your program stranded for 14 years and now you're back after 14 years. Okay, well, is this the year? Is this like Rodriguez's return to WVU where, okay, it struggles a bit one year, then he starts building back up, and then gradually it goes to beating one team, beating Texas Tech? Because I
They
feel like,
have to start looking better next year. There's a lot of people that are like, okay, we brought you in. You're going to have to go ahead and show us that you're worth the money.
yeah, yeah.
He didn't do a great job at Michigan. He did a pretty okay job at Arizona. Then you got to kind of almost stow away what he did at Jacksonville State. That's a Conference USA team. It's Conference USA. It's not like that you're playing up against
Ohio State.
Yeah, you're not playing up against Ohio State. But then again, for the first time in the history of West Virginia football, they lost to a MAC team.
Right.
They lost to Ohio. That is the first time in history they ever lost to a MAC team. It was like 0-22, something like that, before they lost in Athens. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that, and it's like, the WU is 22-1 against MAC.
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay, the one loss to Ohio, that kind of stretched it. And then there was another thing I wanted to bring up as far as like West Virginia, and then not only West Virginia fans, but also like the Big 12 itself. Now there's a lot of and there's a lot of fans, and Nate was pointing this out on his part, where he was ranting about Notre Dame fans. Yeah, Notre Dame fans are trying to, take a crap down y'all's throats. Like, y'all don't even matter in this, in the like y'all's conference don't even matter. When I said I told Nathan this on the College Football Opinion, and by the way, folks, you guys should check out that college show. I told Nathan, I said, the Big 12 is an uprising powerhouse where you're going to have a couple teams. And then I said West Virginia was eventually going to step up. And the thing is, I said Notre Dame fans are just crapping down their throats because they feel like they're irrelevant. Unlike a team who is independent, Notre Dame, you want to call yourselves relevant? Please. Y'all left the ACC and became an independent school while West Virginia and everybody else was hustling in the Big 12, trying to fight their way up the rankings in the Big 12.
And Notre Dame is not doing a bowl game this year.
Right. But, their fan base will cry about everything from losing to us in the national championship game 9 months ago to saying that they're an elite school over Big 12 schools who they call intermediate. Please, these are teams who are not intermediate. Texas Tech only lost to BYU. And I'll say that game was one of the most...
No. BYU only lost to Texas Tech, and that was twice. Texas Tech lost to Arizona State, and that game was in Tempe, Arizona.
Right. Okay. Now. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. I was gonna say I thought it was like Texas or no, excuse me, BYU or Arizona State. But that Arizona State loss was just, hey, Texas Tech, you need to get off your pedestal a little bit.
Yeah.
Tone it down a little bit. It wasn't just like, that was taking a huge crap. It was just more like, hey, focus on what's really most important. Getting, dialed in with the team, especially. Whereas, like I said, Notre Dame fans, and I know you and Nathan can agree with me on this, but I don't get why Notre Dame fans are crapping down y'all's throats. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. I just ignore it. It's background noise. If I worry about what every other fan base thinks of insert name of school, I would worry too much. It's not worth the headache.
Right.
You just go ahead and you. Here's the problem with the Big 12. The Big 12's been left for dead on more than one occasion. In 2011, that was whenever what was it? Mizzou, Colorado, A&M, and Nebraska left.
Yep.
Everybody thought the conference was dead. And then there was the rumors of the Pac-16, where the Pac-12 was going to pick up Texas, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah. If that would have happened, the conference would have been dead. Then you had Texas OU leaving. And whenever they left, they said, oh, this conference is left for dead. Everybody's scrambling. There was rumors again that, what was it? Kansas, Texas
and
Tech.
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State, Texas Tech.
And Texas Tech.
And I can't remember the other one off the top of my head. We're going to go into the Pac-12. That didn't happen. It was
Arizona.
No, Arizona was already in. Arizona and Arizona State were already in the Pac-12. They were in the old Pac-10. They joined in 1978. Sad that I've got that stuck in my head. But the problem that you ran into is the Pac-12 with USC and UCLA saying, okay, what is our TV money going to be? And the problem is those after dark spots, everybody says, oh, they're great time spots. They're not. Even the best of the best games get maybe $1 million, $1.5 million. If you have like a USC, let's say USC, USC, Washington State, because you wouldn't get because they were trying to go ahead and move that game to prime time. If it was like Oregon, USC, you might get $1 million, $1.5 million at most on that game. And then you had the issues with the Pac-12 network. And I'm 30 miles from where the Pac-12 network headquarters is at, from where I'm sitting at right now, and they weren't on DirecTV.
Mm-hmm.
They had a deal with Comcast, but that deal on Comcast was awful. They wanted to try to go at it alone, and nobody wanted there was no clamoring to get the Pac-12 network. Unlike the SEC, ACC network, which is tied in with ESPN, or the Big Ten network, which is tied in with Fox.
Right.
So they had enough power. Hey, if you want Fox Sports on your cable package, you have to pay blank extra to get the Big Ten network. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot on that.
Right.
Then the only serious bidder that they had left was Apple. And the problem with Apple is that half of America still uses Android on their phones. So if you're not part of that Apple ecosystem, you're not going to go out of your way to say, oh, I want to watch Pac-12 football. Oh, I'm on Android. I got to download the Apple app. It's not going to happen.
And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And then the Big 12 gets forgotten for 15 years.
Yes.
After Colorado.
it wasn't that they were forgotten. The problem that they had was that it was Texas and OU calling the shots for everything. Unless it benefited Texas, nothing happened. Oklahoma was a somewhat player in it has to benefit Oklahoma, but they didn't have as much sway as what Texas did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Texas and Oklahoma leave for the SEC, and now it's just down to, Colorado, Arizona State, Arizona,
Yeah.
BYU, WU, Cincinnati. But I've told people for the last 3 years, since TCU upset Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl, which was one of the best wins I'll ever say for a Big 12 school. And in my opinion, that's just my opinion, but I don't know what you think of that win against Michigan for TCU.
Yeah. That was a pretty big win for the conference. And because it showed that you don't have to be Texas, you don't have to be Oklahoma to win a playoff game. Now, let's not say what happened to them against Georgia. That was rather ugly.
Right. And then, you get Arizona State and then Texas when they first went to the SEC in the playoffs. And Arizona State starts fighting with Texas, and then the last minute, Kansas got a boot, that fumble, and then, Texas going on to win and, ultimately going to play Ohio State, where Arizona State fans were saying they wanted to play Ohio State. Yes. They felt robbed of that, opportunity to play an old rival, said Ohio State for Arizona State fans. And I told Arizona State fans, I can agree with you. I wanted to play Arizona State. I don't know what you feel about Arizona State, Ohio State.
How I feel about Arizona State, they're a pretty decent team. Ohio State's still one of the big boys in college football and will be until college football never happens ever again. Ohio State will still be one of the big boys.
Right. And then, obviously now last year, Iowa State coming up, BYU coming up, and then Neil Brown going 9-4. And it's hey, we should need a playoff spot over said school who lost 5-4 games, where it's and Notre Dame's paying, the playoff committee more money just to screw somebody out of it. And it's seriously? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick because let me pull this up real quick. I have it up here right now. The preseason, Notre Dame was preseason 6. And we all know who preseason 1 was.
You can present it on my screen, Dan.
Okay, hold on.
But let me get your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Michigan fans are also on the bandwagon of down talking on the Big 12. And ever since, they lost, and since that TCU lost, and that now not only Notre Dame fans are talking the Big 12 is blah, 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 blah. Michigan fans are also, talking their way and saying, oh, the Big 12 is irrelevant. I want to get your honest thoughts on that also.
To be honest with you, it's background noise to me. I don't worry about it.
Okay. Because I see a lot of it on Twitter from different people that are fans of Michigan, Notre Dame, Alabama, especially Jackson Johnson from the Jacksonian. Some of his fans from Alabama are really, oh, blah, 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 this and this and this. And then it's why are you even saying that when it's just noise you're making to say irrelevant claims?
I mean, Alabama has the name Alabama. Alabama has won a slew of championships the past 20 years.
Right.
They get, if it comes down to insert name of school that is going to get a bid compared to another school, the word Alabama carries some weight. And that's just the way the world works. It's just, so let me scroll this
So
down a little bit.
so now you've got the preseason poll from this year.
Yeah.
And where do we got so far, Dan?
Okay. You have Texas that underperformed, Penn State, who was 2, they fired a coach, Ohio State, who is in the playoffs, Clemson, who underperformed, Georgia, that's in the playoffs, Notre Dame is out of the playoffs, Oregon is in, Alabama is in, LSU turned into a big, massive dumpster fire. Miami is in, Arizona State, who they had a lot of injuries that they dealt with. And
then they lost, Cam Scatteroo, their star running back.
True. Illinois, who had an okay season. South Carolina, the wheels fell off at South Carolina. I mean, you could not. I mean, if the South Carolina Gamecocks are probably outside of Penn State the most underwhelming team that you've had this season.
Right.
You had Florida.
Well, let's not forget our school rivals from up north.
So they're 14th, and I haven't seen the final AP poll for today, but they're ranked where they should be. Oklahoma's ranked where they should be. A&M caught fire, and they're in the playoffs. Indiana, they're number 1 team in the nation now. Ole Miss is going into the playoffs without a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State, I said at the beginning of the year, I thought Iowa State was going to win the Big 12.
Bring the Thunder.
Yeah. And a lot of it was that they had, I almost said Anthony Beck. They had Rocco Beck coming back. They had a lot of bit pieces that came back for that team. And Matt Campbell, year before, he went 11-2. So I'm like, they put together a really good team. I think that they're going to be pretty good this year. And let me tell you how injured Iowa State was. They had to get an offensive lineman to do kickoffs. A 6'8", 350-pound offensive lineman who did kickoffs in high school. They were that low on the depth chart, just trying to get kickoffs done.
Mm-hmm.
So that team was massively injured. That right there killed their chances of going to Arlington. Texas Tech, who preseason 23, of course, they won the Big 12. Boise State, everybody thought Boise State was going to end up running away with everything. They did win the Mountain West, but I want to say they were 9-3, something like that.
9-3.
Yeah.
And then Tennessee, obviously, that's a dumpster fire in the SEC.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what you had preseason. Now you're looking at okay, now you've got the CFP, you've got the bowls. So how do you want to play this? Who's going to be, 8 seed Ohio State. I can't remember what Vegas had on that game, but I know Tennessee was the
favorite. Tennessee was favorite.
Yeah, they were the favorite, and I can't remember how many points it was.
7
Do you ever watch SEC shorts?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, last year they had a funny one talking about where Tennessee just got beat there
By Ohio
in
State.
Knoxville, or as what they were trying to, not Knoxville, there in Columbus, or as they were referring to it as Neyland North. Uh, yeah, they just got killed.
42-7 to be exact.
Yeah.
And they were favored by 7.5 points to beat us.
Okay.
And
I
we
didn't
beat
know
them,
the exact number off the top of my head. I know they were a favorite.
and we beat them over the point spread
Yes.
by a chunk.
Yes.
Because that was also a lot of seniors on that team that also, that was, the do or die situation, as far as we know. And that was where Michigan slapped us in the face and said,
Yeah.
ha ha ha. And we answered back with beating the crap out of Tennessee, then Oregon, then Texas with, Quinn Ewers and who's in the NFL draft. And then Oregon and then Notre Dame, who unfortunately their fan base can't get their attitude and their emotions checked, but that's just because they're Notre Dame fans.
Exactly.
And they're overbearing, egotistical, church kids that can't get their emotions together.
True.
Because literally,
but
they claim that they're, good at this, and then when they get up to another school that's as elite as them and they lose, it's like, yeah, y'all ain't that good.
Here's the problem with Notre Dame. Notre Dame is still trying to live off the past.
The glory days.
The glory days. Their last national championship was 1988.
With Lou Holtz.
So it's been quite a long time since Notre Dame. No, they've gone to the playoffs. They've played the national championship games since then, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman, I think, is doing a okay job as coach, bringing in talent and stuff like that. Because Notre Dame, the one good thing about Notre Dame is every single one of their games are going to be on national network TV.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got one game a year that they're going to have on Peacock, but everything is going to be on either ABC or
ESPN.
Well, very few on ESPN because if it's a ACC game at an ACC opponent, you can guarantee that it's going to be on ABC. Mm-hmm. NBC has only thing NBC has is just the Notre Dame home games. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're vastly overpaying for those.
Yeah, definitely.
I heard somewhere around like $48 million.
It's 49 million to be exact.
49 million. They're paying way too much for what they get. They might get, okay, let's say that they get at most 7 home games. They're paying $7 million a home game. One of them's going to be on Peacock. So I don't know. There's been rumors floating around that NBC is not happy. I have not been able to verify any of those.
No, I know. I get what you're saying, Dan. This will be a funny short for the College Football Mafia. This would be a cool addition, like, to your shorts on the College Football Mafia. Just having a conversation with me, and just having a logical conversation. Whereas, like, hey, this is Dan with the College Football Mafia.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I got to get those things in under 2 minutes. Just due to the fact that to beat the YouTube algorithm is what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a pretty good job of getting those out and getting those getting good viewership on them.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
I get that.
But going back to Notre Dame does have some pretty big money people there that bankrolls that football team. The problem is where they're a private school, you don't get a chance to see all their numbers. You could do some guesstimates. It's not like Ohio State where they are required to publish numbers and all their numbers are subject to FOIA.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame isn't. Like how much Marcus Freeman's getting paid, we don't know. We can do a pretty good guess. But and here's the other thing with Notre Dame. They still can recruit well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that they're where they're located at, they can still get a lot of Midwest kids to go to South Bend. So they can hit in Illinois, they can hit in Ohio, they can hit in Indiana, they can go in Western PA, they can go into, they kind of go into the South a little bit, but not. Problem that they have is that you're picking through what the SEC's already got.
Right.
Yeah, because the SEC is if you're a 5-star kid in the state of Georgia, you're going to have Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, Florida, Miami. You're going to have every single school, Clemson. All of them are going to be knocking on your door saying, "Hey, come here."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you've got a Notre Dame knocking on your door, let's say he wants to play close so his family can watch.
Mm-hmm.
Kids in Georgia, it's a 2-hour drive to Athens, Georgia. Guess what? He's going to go to Athens, Georgia, or he'll go to Auburn. Auburn's 2-hour drive, or he's going to go to Tuscaloosa. That's about a 3-hour drive. It's going to be tough to get those kids out of the South to go to the North.
Yeah, because they're not used to cold weather, and B, they got a lot of family in the South too.
Yeah,
in the Southwest.
Yeah,
and then here's the also part of recruiting. I feel like with big colleges, and I feel like with this one, and I said this to someone, and I said, there's like from the up north schools like Ohio, Michigan, like from my area, there's not many kids in the Division III circuit, Division IV circuit that are recruited. And schools say that it's, quote, lack of discipline, uncoachable, and some other things. And they said, and even with one of my friends who I grew up closely with, and that literally lives about maybe 10 minutes down the road from me here, literally 10 minutes. His brothers, him and his brothers played defense for this particular school, and they were the leading tacklers, and they were the record leading. At the point that they were the guys that led that defense to most points stopped and most yards for loss. And colleges looked over their tape and they said, oh, he's great talent, but these kids are just hard. They felt like we're hard to coach. I literally heard the phone conversation, and it's like, yeah, y'all are hard to coach. It's just like, oh, you feel like you guys wouldn't be able to show up in time. All these excuses that colleges made to them. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I tell people, like, their story is just, people are like, how do you have guys that never went D1, that never went to a D1 college, and then they get said, oh, you guys are undisciplined or uncoachable, like your attitude is bad, or your mindset could be in a bad position. It's like, I don't get it. When these guys are good, they come in, they don't say any excuses, and they come to work.
How many D1 prospects are out there, realistically?
Like,
Probably
so
maybe 1% of all high school players end up in good enough for
D1 schools.
D1. So some of these coaches, and it's weird that what some of these coaches are looking for. They're looking for how you line up, where you line up, what was the defensive play call for that setup. Were you out of position? That's what they look for. And the thing is, let's say in Ohio State, let's say they're looking at linebackers. Well, there's probably 50 linebackers that want to go to school at Ohio State. They've only got enough room for each, let's say each recruiting class, they only got enough room for 7, 8
linebackers.
Yeah, for just linebackers. Let's say that you're looking at like a defensive lineman. If you're I don't know, does Ohio State run a 3-4 or 4-3?
4-3 defense.
Okay, 4-3.
Sometimes
okay.
they run, but sometimes they switch it to 3-4 depending on like
past situations and stuff like that. So they'll run a nickel. But whenever you're sitting there, okay, a 3-4, you end up instead of trying to pick up X number of high school recruits, you're only going to pick up maybe 6, 7 because, hey, guess what? You're in the portal and you're looking at that. What did this guy do at the group of 6? What did this guy do at FCS? What did this guy do at D2? So you're looking that deep. And let's say somebody is lighting it up in D2 ball, you're guaranteed that you're going to get a ton of people that are Power 4 schools making phone calls. At worst, you're going to end up having a group of 6 university making a phone call. So it does work itself out somewhat because you can shine at that lower level and move up. It's almost like baseball, and I'm a huge baseball guy.
I think you've said that a few times on your show.
Used to be a huge baseball guy. Baseball died for me September 26th, 2024 in East Oakland. So you got to think of it this way. You've got MLB, you've got AAA, you've got AA, you've got single A, and then you've got it used to be called Rookie League, and now I can't remember what it's called now, but it's on-site farm league stuff that you have. So if you're good, you're going to end up getting drafted by a major league franchise, but you're going to end up playing single A ball, going from, well, I almost said Toledo Mud Hens are AAA, going from Charleston, West Virginia to Lexington, Kentucky, the old South Atlantic League. That's single A ball. And then you have to prove yourself and work your way up. And that's what a lot of these players, if they're not getting sniffed by, let's say Ohio State says no, but Toledo is saying yes, or let's say Bowling Green, or let's say
Ohio.
Guess what? Go ahead and take that opportunity and go ahead and shine and try to make it worth the time to show that scout that missed you at Ohio State, prove them wrong.
No,
God, I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
No, but I get what you're saying, Daniel.
Yeah.
And I'll point this out to you. So there's one of the brothers. He played strong safety, 6'2", 198 pounds. But then he got up to his senior year. He was up to 210 pounds.
Yeah.
Physical guy. never gave up, and he never kept his foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Hard hitter. I mean, this guy, I'll tell you this guy would play like Sean Taylor. Silent but deadly. You know, he
Yes.
could make the picks, but he could also deliver the blows that you never thought you could see in your life. Like that generation of like those guys were dead, like Cam Chancellor, Sean Taylor, Weapon X, that
Yeah.
generation of those guys. And it's like this guy's playing out of his mind. And I'm like thinking, oh, Ohio State or Miami's probably going to come for this guy and call. Miami could want a next Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, to say like, hey, we've got a guy that's a once in a lifetime talent, generational talent that you don't find. Because that's what colleges are forgetting. The once in a lifetime guys on defense that bring the attitude that, you know, locker rooms need.
Yeah. But also, like I said, even then, it's still a crapshoot. I remember what they said about Troy Polamalu whenever he was drafted by the Steelers. They said he was undersized. He was not quick enough. He did not hit hard enough whenever he was leaving USC. Boy, he proved everybody wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So when these players are evaluated, and yes, it's a crapshoot. For every 4 and 5 star kid out there, how many of them flame out? Probably a third.
Like not even a third, more like it feels like a fifth of them.
Yeah, about 25%. Yeah, give or take.
Because colleges don't want to risk, you know, they don't want to risk getting fined for, you know, this guy hits this receiver hard.
Yeah.
And then
but there's not fines in NCAA football. There's not fines. You have to just sit a game out. Mm-hmm. It's not like the NFL, where the NFL, you lightly breeze on a quarterback these days. You're getting a 15-yard penalty and you're paying a fine. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but the game suspension for just delivering a good clean hit to a wide receiver.
Those are like, petty. Those have turned into a joke. I mean, you're playing football. You're not playing. You're not playing lacrosse. You're not playing soccer. You're playing American football. Let them hit.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that I talked to said, like, you know, if that tape comes up to their, and I talked to somebody in recruiting, they said if that tape comes up with a lot of the hard hitting, they have to tell like the kid, they have to dial it down because of, like, you know, the rules and the regulations.
If you hit, like I said, you hit a quarterback the wrong way, next thing you know, it's a 15-yard penalty, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. This is a joke. Oh.
And this comes up to, you know, the point I made about my friend that lives not even like, I call him a brother that I had, and he's delivering these hard hits to tight ends that are legal.
Yeah.
And colleges are telling him like he's too dangerous when he comes up and makes the hits on critical third down and even first down plays that count. And they're legal. And they're like, well, you need to tone down your hitting percentage for us to at least, you know, make sure that we don't get, you know, we don't lose you for a game or get a penalty. Because
and that's the problem that you have, is the way that they call games now. The way they call games now, it's turned into a joke. I mean, I can't think of a single game I've watched this year where there wasn't some type of ticky-tack, roughing the passer, or illegal hit, or targeting that wasn't targeting. and you're just like, okay, this has got to end. This is turning into a joke.
Right.
Yeah, and a lot of it is that the NCAA is they're afraid of getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? If you want to see hard hitting, you want to see people take each other out, go watch a hockey game.
Right.
Go watch college hockey.
Oh,
They
yeah.
beat each other up left, right, and sideways, and there's not a single person in that building that says a single thing about a hard hit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the running joke with hockey is that get into a fight, you're out for 2 minutes, draw blood, it's 5. I mean, that's pretty accurate. I had my daughter with me. Oh, I think she was 7 or 8 at the time, my youngest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And we went down to San Jose to watch a game. And she was like, "So what happens?" Like, "Oh yeah, he guy took a stick across the top of the other guy's head." I was like, "Now he's in the penalty box." It's like, "Oh, so he goes into timeout." It's like, "Yeah, he's in timeout for 2 minutes."
Yeah. Right. You know.
I mean, but name a hockey game that somebody's not getting getting blasted.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's the same thing with his brother who played outside linebacker. And the guy's equivalent behavior is just like, it's like, say, Terrell Suggs, the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
James Harrison. He plays that attitude because he's an outside linebacker. His job is to sack the quarterback. And if he says he doesn't apologize for hitting him or sacking him because it's his job, then you've got a problem. He said he used to tell people. And then his coach is like, "Oh, there's probably a university out there that'll take him first thing." Universities are like, on one condition. You've got to like temper down a bit. And he's like, "Temper down? You're so full of and I won't say it over for, demonetization. Yeah. It's like,
but I understand what the coach is saying, because let's say that
he came over the middle, and here's a situation.
Yeah, let's say that it's a 3rd and 6. They're on your 20-yard line. You go back there, and let's say that hits a guy, and the flag comes out for a 15-yarder. Now all of a sudden you've put them about the 10-yard line and with a fresh set of downs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what coaches are worried about. Coaches are worried because that can cost them the game. So instead of a 3rd and 6, you have a really nice sack, but that sack is now called
for a first down.
Yeah, called for a first down.
And here's the situation I'll say personally that I know, Daniel.
Yeah.
3rd and 8. And they're on the 45-yard line.
Yeah.
They're in a shotgun formation. He comes from the right side of the line, gets past the first block, gets past the blocker, and he comes from behind him and blasts him in the back and just wraps his arms around the guy and just plows him to the ground like how Duvernay did to Tom Brady. And he gets up and he's just walking off, and the referee doesn't even flag him for it. And they showed him that tape. Colleges were sent that tape, specifically Georgia, Oregon, and Miami were sent those tapes of him because they wanted to make sure, like, hey, if this is the guy you want on defense to set the tone in the locker room, you've got him. Like this is like the next Jason Taylor.
Here's the thing. No, let me explain. As a freshman, you don't set the tone in the locker room. You've got a couple of seniors that are setting the tone in the locker room. Every school has it.
I meant to say not setting the tone, but like, you make that big impact on your first day of you on your first game. And it's like, this kid actually's got some guts on him.
Yeah.
He knows.
Where did he end up playing at?
He actually never took any of the offers.
Why not?
he's like, well, if colleges wouldn't take him because of, the way he did things and the way he was, it's like, oh, well, I just might as well go, stay with my family and work with my family's business. And
That's
that's what he's
here's the
currently
thing.
doing.
Let's say Division two. Well, no, I was about to say Oberlin, but they're Division three. Let's say Oberlin gives him a call, and he goes to Oberlin, and he lights it up in D3 his freshman year. His sophomore year, he'll probably end up getting. He might get a group of 6 call up.
Mm-hmm.
Say he lights it up at a group of 6. Then years 3, 4, 5, he can go ahead and
Go D1.
go on to a big boy team. Because the thing is, like I said, those coaches see a lot of tape. And years ago, it used to be physical tape. It used to be VCRs. You would hear about insert kid that was in Western PA. Well, what's his coach? Who do you play in high school and whatever? And you would have to get the VCR. Now everything's on YouTube.
Digital.
Everything's online. You've got Huddle. Every player's got a Huddle profile where they put all their game tapes on. So trying to stand out now, it's
Excuse me.
It is easier and it's more difficult. It's easier because everybody can see your game film real easy. It's difficult because everybody has game film up. Be it from a high school out in middle of nowhere, West Virginia, to big name high school in Texas. Everybody's got film online.
Yeah. No, I get you completely, Daniel.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. And it's like, so in his story with him, it's like, his coaches and everybody, and even on his Huddle profile, it's said name from London, Ohio.
Yeah.
Said specifically on. Plays at Madison Plain, outside linebacker, edge rusher. Hard hitter, physical, but great overall player. Can make the big impacts, stops, and is a great guy for rushing the passer.
Yeah.
He can, he's got the skills of like and this is his profile that I know I've read. Great power rusher, speed rusher, edge rusher. He knows he knows the techniques to be a great, defensive player of the year award winner and a Buckus award winner. And said schools, and I've said of Miami, Georgia, and Oregon were the 3 that were sent the tapes that he requested.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I said, just because you get passed over by insert name of whoever, if he wanted to play, I can guarantee you a D2 school would sit there and say, yeah, sure, come on down. And you could get a name that way, and you could go ahead and work your way up.
Oh no, I agree with you, and
yeah,
and I was talking to him earlier today, and it's like, and he's like, yeah, D2 schools reached out to him. He did get a fair amount of D2 schools calling him.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, we like what you do, we like that your attitude's that way, and it's then the next couple of days. Subs D1 schools call, but it's like, we want to recruit you, but it's at the same time a risk to like losing them as a starter. Because if they put him in as immediate starter and make those hits that, and said plays that could cost them 15 yards, penalties, rushing the passer, like aggressive tackling on the passer, and those calls, like targeting, it can make an impact. And then that can make your reputation look bad for the draft.
Yeah, I mean, yes, no, and kind of. I mean, if a lot of, like I said, a lot of it is how much sweat equity you want to put in. So if you'll have, like, a guy I used to work with, his son was drafted by Seattle as a pitcher. So he never got a sniff at the major league level. I think the most that he did was a 10-day at AAA. And a lot of the stuff that they do in Major League Baseball is how much do you want it? Because you are going to end up playing, you're going to be playing Midwest League baseball going from Lansing, Michigan to Green Bay, Wisconsin. That is their way of weeding out who wants it.
Right, and I get what you're saying, Dan.
Yeah.
On that note, and then the final, and then I know we got off topic, and we.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
And I enjoy and I'm enjoying this conversation as much as I am, Daniel. But here's my thought: West Virginia could possibly, in the next that time, start to get the momentum going in that locker room.
Yes.
And it could be, the time when West Virginia starts to say, hey, it's our time to, it's our time to put the upsets on the board. Say the upset to, you win a game against LA Tech, week 1. Week 2, you beat Arizona State. And then week 7, it's on the road at BYU. BYU, and then go to at Texas Tech and beat Texas Tech after they came back from losing the national championship, or Arizona State.
Yes.
I mean, the possibility of that is not impossible.
True. Hold on. Let me take a look, because West Virginia's still got Texas Tech on their schedule for next year. Their first 3 is Coastal Carolina, UT Martin, and then they play UVA in Charlotte. And that UVA game is going to probably, because UVA played really good this year, is probably going to be the game that's going to set the tone for the whole season.
Yep. And no, I agree that it's going to be the tone setter, but also it could make a big impact for Coach Rodriguez. And then, but on that note, are you feeling confident that maybe Coach Rodriguez is starting to need to get the momentum? Maybe next year he'll get that momentum to get.
He had a great recruiting class. It was depending on which composite score you look at, it was either 1 or 2 behind BYU. So getting in talent helps. Coaching up that talent helps. The defensive coordinator there was at Oklahoma. Hopeful that side of the ball was kind of okay. They really need an offensive line.
Mm-hmm. And no, I agree. And from where it was, it's from where it was. Give me 1 second here, Daniel. I'll let you have the show for a minute.
Okay. So the way I look at it with WVU is, since they joined the Big 12, they have not been the same. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they are no longer in their heavy recruiting area. So let's say you're getting recruits out of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the Virginia Beach area. You're getting guys out of the Carolinas. Well, you're playing road games in Texas. You're playing road games in Oklahoma. You're playing a road game in Utah. So that now hurts recruiting, because before it was like, hey, we'll have you come in, we'll have you play. Oh yeah, by the way, your family can see you play whenever we play Rutgers, or whenever we play Syracuse, or whenever we play uh, Virginia Tech or whoever. Now it's, hey, your family won't be able to see you unless you come here to Morgantown.
Yeah, and no, Daniel, I agree with you on West Virginia, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: as long as WVU can keep up the recruiting and gain, the key aspects, offensive line, wide receivers, the quarterback position, keep that position, but also fill out the defense. You guys are in a better spot. And when you guys are in a better spot, hey, that's where things can take off and say, hey,
Yeah.
this is the year WVU steps up. And then the games progress.
I don't think it's going to be next year, because you're still rebuilding. I think 2027 is the year that WVU makes the really big step up. I'm trying to remember the non-conference for 2027. It's not going to be that difficult.
And the 2027 schedule, I can pull. If you want to pull that schedule,
I'm pulling it up right now. The non-conference for West Virginia in 2027 is Southern Miss. Oh wow, Southern Miss, VMI, and Ohio.
BMI? Who the heck is BMI?
VMI, the Virginia Military Institute. They're a 1AA team. So that schedule's easy, and then they have the conference schedule.
And with the out of conference games, those are gonna be the ones you'll easily win.
Yes.
On a given day.
Yes.
Sure, your guys' out of conference games are just as terrible as Ohio State's.
Yes.
Somewhat, but you get my point.
Yes.
And then it goes at least there's an Ohio State fan that says hey, the Big 12 is actually a great conference, yet y'all overlook it. And it's it's not your fault, but at the same time it is.
It's going to be that way for a while. They're going to be overlooked for quite a while. That's just how the world's going to work. You just accept it and move on.
Yeah, and then you guys make the big shocks like TCU, Arizona State, Iowa State, and Cincinnati. I'm only saying Cincinnati, the 2021-2022 Cincinnati, where they went 13-0, made it to play Bama.
Yes.
Those are those teams that actually said, hey, the Big 12 means business, but we're just getting started.
Correct. And it's just going to take time.
And now Texas Tech is now the next team in the Big 12 that's saying, hey, we're stepping up the A game and we're putting it down. And BYU, that's a one hell of a team, and I give Nathan credit. I give you guys credit. I'm not taking anything away from BYU. They worked their tails off.
BYU's fan base, it's not just Utah. I've ran into more than my fair share of BYU fans out here in California. The LDS community here in California is really big, and they're all BYU fans. So, I'm trying to remember. What bowl game it was. It was there in San Francisco, BYU was in it, and BYU filled the whole entire building up. And I want to say that they were playing Stanford or they were playing somebody local, and
Stanford.
it was something like that. And BYU filled the building up.
And they won that game only.
I don't remember. It would have been like 06, 07, something like that.
Yeah, that's still crazy.
Yeah.
And then the early Big 12, when everybody was like, oh, the Big 12, this Big 12 is going to be, the decade. Like Kansas State, Texas A&M, Nebraska. You're projected to play against Ohio State. And it's like, oh my gosh, like we won a national championship and we won a bowl game. And then it's like, okay, then lose to Ohio State in an unexpected turn. It's like, oh my gosh, we just had one hell of a season.
Correct.
Which now I feel like Texas Tech is taking that up, and now they're going to go back. They're going to the playoffs with said Texas A&M.
Correct. The Texas Tech's always had a pretty good team. So the fact that they got enough people to cough up money for them to have a good NIL fund for this year, that's all they needed. They needed somebody to just push them over the top.
Right, and then once they got the coach, and then they got the NIL, that's what really started to push them.
Yeah, because they've always been a 8-win team. So
9 sometimes.
Yeah. So, but it's not like that they were awful. It's not like that they were shabby. It wasn't like that they were running 3-9, 4-8. I mean, they were 8-win team that every once in a while would win double-digit games. So it wasn't like that they were bad. It was
right.
They needed a push, and they got the push.
Yep. And it's like, okay, well, say Texas Tech were to play USC out of conference, and USC's favored, and they're saying like Texas Tech's all right. Next thing you know, Texas Tech beats them by double digits.
Yes, and the way that a lot of betting lines are set, it's what's attractive to get money on both sides. And if you are a Las Vegas handicapper, guess which major metro area is 4 hours south? LA. So those LA gamblers, they'll sit there and see a USC that is a favorite. They'll throw some money on USC because that's the local team for them in Los Angeles. So that line is set, a lot of it, to make it attractive on both sides. It's not always who they think will win. It's who they think will put money on both players.
Yep. Yeah, and it's like, say BYU beats USC by double digits unexpectedly. Like, say 49-7 at USC.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, everybody at USC was like crazy. Like, they were calling BYU the out of advantage team because they were coming into the Coliseum, where it's a bunch of USC fans screaming on the top of their lungs.
Yeah.
The Trojans.
I'm trying to remember what year it was.
Like, for us, number one Texas.
2019 BYU beat USC, and that game was in Las Vegas. They do a lot of non-conference games in Las Vegas. No, that game was in Provo. I take that back. That game was in Provo.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, then, this season, number 1 ranked Texas against the number 3 ranked Ohio State, who just won a national championship. And people are
Yes.
saying, oh, Texas with Arch Manning, they're going to dice down the Ohio State defense that's unranked. That's, untested. This questioned team, this questioned defense. And they only beat them by a touchdown.
I don't think that there was a team that was more overhyped
Than
than
Texas.
Texas coming into this year, and a quarterback more overhyped than Peyton and Eli's nephew.
Arch Manning.
Yes. Archie Manning's grandson.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think that there was a more overhyped team than Texas.
And a more overhyped quarterback in Arch Manning.
The problem that Arch Manning has is if the name Manning wasn't, if his last name wasn't Manning, and let's say his granddad was not Archie, his uncles weren't Peyton and Eli, I don't think he would have got 2 sniffs coming out of New Orleans. He wouldn't be on the Texas roster. He would probably ended up having to play at, like I said, he would probably had to work his way up from playing at like let's say Carleton, maybe a Tarleton State, maybe a Louisiana Tech, and work his way up.
Louisiana Monroe.
Yeah, or ULM, something like it. But you get the idea that I'm talking about. That he would have had to started down here and worked his way up to where he's on the Texas roster.
Where instead now Texas took him and said, "Oh, he's the bright future of Texas."
Yeah.
And then he doesn't play a single snap of ball, and they're still praising him.
I mean, he was the very heavy preseason favorite to win the Heisman.
Yep.
I don't remember what the books had him in Las Vegas off the top of my head, but nobody was going to come close to the amount of money that was being put on Arch Manning. It was a lot.
Right. And now the Heisman, possible candidates now is OSU's quarterback, who they thought was, not ready, and Frederick Mendoza, who had an unbelievable last season with Curt Cignetti.
If you ask me who's going to win the Heisman, Mendoza, it will not shock me if Mendoza wins it. They went undefeated. They're the 1 seed. They're the number 1 ranked team in the nation, and he played
the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah, and he's played some really good ball. So the fact that he is probably the very heavy favorite going into it, that doesn't shock me.
No, I agree with you. Because at first I was like, Indiana, if we play Indiana in the Big Ten title game, we were like, oh, this is going to be a blowout. It's not going to be any shock. And then after that, and I'll say this honestly, I overlooked Indiana. And I'm saying this to be honest, Dan. I'm not just saying it just to be propagandic. I'm saying this as an honest OSU fan.
Yeah. The Cignetti, I've been familiar with the Cignettis since I was little. Frank Cignetti Sr. was the coach at WVU. Got fired after the 79 season. I think they went 4-7 that year. The year before that, they went 2-9. Frank Jr. and Curt Cignetti. Curt Cignetti was the quarterback on that roster there at WVU. Whenever JMU was playing WVU a couple of years ago, and you had Curt Cignetti there, he was taking pictures of the stadium and pointing out all the differences from whenever he was a quarterback there, whenever it opened up year 1 in 1980 compared to when was that? Yeah, something like that.
It was
No, it wasn't
2022.
2023. It was something like that.
2022 opening game.
Yes,
They went to WVU.
yes. And the Signetti family, that name carries some weight in Western PA. Frank Signetti won a couple of Division II national championships at, I think it was at Indiana. Not the Indiana you're thinking. There's a school in Western PA called IUP, Indiana University, Pennsylvania. Frank Jr. won some championships at California University of Pennsylvania, which is just south of Pittsburgh. Indiana's north, California's the south. That's a pretty big rivalry, Division II wise there.
I can bet.
So what was it? I remember I mentioned this on the show. It's like, hey, this is the second time that Curt Signetti's did a really good job winning at an Indiana school. And Moen knew exactly what I was talking about. It's like, oh yeah, he was at IUP. It's like, yeah.
Yeah,
And we had to explain it. We had to explain it to I think Nate was on the show. We had to explain to Nate. It's like there was a Division II school there, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, that big time Division II football program.
Yeah, and I talked to Mountaineer fans like in the prime days in the 80s when West Virginia was like this powerhouse when they first opened what I call the Mountaineer House.
Yeah.
Morgantown. It's like, okay, now they're going to say national championships. They're contending for a national championship.
They contended. They played for two. They played in '88, and that didn't go well, and '93, and that didn't go well either.
Well, they've won a couple, haven't they?
They have never won a national championship. They have the most wins and the most conference championships, and you got to remember they spent 50 years as an independent of any school not to win a national championship. Now, there's debate about 1922, but I'm not going to go into it because nobody was giving out championships in 1922. Basketball, they won a national championship in 1942. You got to remember, you had the NIT was a separate tournament and the NCAA was a separate tournament. People wanted to go to the NIT, and let me explain. This is so funny. The NCAA required you to pay for travel to go to Kansas City. The NIT paid for travel for you to go to New York to play at the Garden. So your biggest programs were going to go to play the NIT. So they won a national championship in 42. They've won 20 rifle championships. They've won a couple of boxing. They've won national championships. They just have never won one in football.
And the one in 88 and 93 were against Notre Dame, wasn't it?
88 was against Notre Dame. That was a Fiesta Bowl. In 93, it was going to be a split. It was going to be split because at the time you had the Big Eight, and the Big Eight and ACC were required to play at the Orange Bowl. So that was Nebraska and Florida State. Nebraska was undefeated. Florida State had one loss. WVU was undefeated, played Florida in the Sugar Bowl, lost to Florida. So where Florida State won their bowl game, Florida, I think, had 2 losses that year, something like that. Florida State would have won it. It would have been a split national championship. If WVU would have won, Florida State would have won. It would have been split national championship that year. 90 what was it? 90, 91 were split national championships. This is before they started the BCS.
Yeah.
So the main reason why they wanted to do the BCS was because of split national championships. And guess what? You still had when was that? 04. Yeah. You had a split national championship with USC winning the AP poll and Auburn winning the BCS.
Mm-hmm. No, and I understand where that
Yeah.
is, and I know the history now.
Yeah.
Because West Virginia's always been a mystery to me, like, and it's like, I'm an Ohio State fan where it's like I'm sitting on this, I'm standing up with that championship behind me.
And depending on which part of the state of Ohio you're in, you're within shouting distance of West Virginia.
I'm actually 25 minutes southwest of Columbus.
Okay, so I know exactly where you're at. So you're between so you're almost where 32 and 23 meet.
Not exactly.
Okay.
More of a little bit east or not east of 23. The town, do you know the town of London?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right there.
Okay. I know exactly where that is. Yeah.
I'm a holler away from Columbus.
Yeah.
But sometimes I've drove to the side of Ohio where it's like Ohio, West Virginia, where Ohio State, West Virginia play.
Yeah.
In that rivalry. And I've hollered over to West Virginia. I've said, hey, Mountaineers, OH. And then there may be one person say, I up.
Normally it's an FU.
Like I've got a few Go Mountaineers.
So yeah, there was a guy that was stationed with me out Travis Air Force Base. He was from Zanesville, a really funny guy. And this would have been, let me see. He was out there from 93 to 97, something like that. He was stationed with us out there at Travis. What was funny was that we would go, big time Ohio State guy. And he reminded me, and this is always the funny part. It's like, yeah, I'm a fan of all three professional teams in the state of Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Ohio State University. Oh yeah, by the way, college football is never going to move, and there's no salary cap in college football. So it was like,
no, I get it.
And whenever, what was that, Maurice Clarett and that whole entire mess, I remember talking to him. I'm like, nice going. Now you ruined it for everybody. It's like, you mean to tell me people on WVU aren't doing the exact same thing? It's like, of course they are. They just didn't get caught.
No, my God. I remember the scandal of Maurice Clarett and all of that. And then the WVU scandals. And it's like, oh my gosh.
WVU got caught by not tracking the hours. It started out at Michigan, and they were not tracking the hours, football instructional hours. You have to turn a form in every month or whatever, showing that you weren't going over 20 hours of football instruction. How many football teams before WVU got caught do you think that were doing the forms correctly?
I'd say at least maybe 3 or 4.
I would probably say that's out of the 120 Division I FBS programs. You're probably right. Probably maybe 3 or 4. Probably not that many. But guarantee you, almost nobody was filling those forms out. WVU got caught. They ended up getting, what was it? They had a couple scholarships taken away. I think it was 3 scholarships over 3 years. Ooh, wow, big deal. So you lost 1 scholarship a year, whatever. You can live through that. So, and I didn't know there was a rule. Nope, probably nobody on the team paid attention to it. So,
no, and that's funny hearing the stories of all these scandals from early before I'm born. But I've watched some of these stories, like in my spare time, studying more of college football, but also the sport I played also.
Yeah. Now here's my all-time favorite. And I did a short on it of scandals. Colorado, this was in 2004. They got caught taking recruits to, let's just say the women don't have a wardrobe, and somebody blew the whistle on them to the NCAA. Pardon the interruption. There's Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon. And I remember watching this, and I thought it was so hilarious because it was so accurate. Tony Kornheiser said, "Okay, Wilbon, how many schools do you think take their recruits to places like this?" Wilbon pretty bluntly said, "Well, one less now. Colorado got caught." So, yeah.
Wait, they took college recruits to clubs.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can never think of clubs, let alone like women's clubs, like gentlemen's
Yes.
clubs.
Yes.
Like, who in their absolute mind? I would figure Miami or LA would do that legally, but
Miami got in trouble because guy's last name was Shapiro, and I can't remember. He was one of the big boosters there at Miami. He was taking recruits on his yacht there in Miami.
did he have like women with him?
Huh?
Didn't they have like women on that yacht?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And Miami got in trouble for it. And I remember talking to a friend of mine that was from South Florida, and I'm like, it's like, got sloppy, got caught. Is like, you mean to tell me WVU wouldn't do that? It's like, there's no place to put a yacht in West Virginia.
And there's no place for a gentleman's club in WVU.
There probably is, but we're talking about having a 100-foot yacht. There's yeah.
And there's no way the Ohio River could fit a yacht.
Yeah, that was the running joke that not going to happen.
Oh my gosh, that is so freaking hilarious. Man, I gotta figure out more if I can find more of them stories so I can like read them because that's hilarious.
Yeah, and like I said, it's every school is trying to get an advantage. Now it's money. It's a money advantage. Years ago, you had to be strategic with doing this, with doing that, with how the NCAA would come in there and audit what each player was doing and stuff like that. But now it's a little bit more difficult because, like I said, it's no longer getting it's no longer like Eric Dickerson with SMU. Well, no, Texas A&M bought him a brand new Pontiac Trans Am. He turned down Texas A&M to go to SMU. So that tells you what SMU was paying at the time. That was in 1981. That if Texas A&M, who had between the car and cash $50,000, SMU was doubling that.
Right, and that Pontiac Trans Am was also like a Firebird, I believe. Trans Am.
Yes, it was. It was gold. Yes, and to sit there and say that SMU was the biggest culprit out of the old Southwest Conference, no. SMU got sloppy. SMU got caught.
Mm-hmm. And you make that point again correct there, Dan.
Yeah.
Like, when you get sloppy, you get caught.
Yes.
When you have a yacht with
yeah, that.
With said women, you're gonna get caught. There's no excuse for it.
But like I said, a lot of it is that you're looking at now it's not how much you can pay a player, because every player's got a value. Are you going to sit there and say, let's say, well, I'll bring up a situation that happened with WVU. I don't know. They had JT Daniel. He was at Georgia the year before. He was at USC before that. Got injured a couple of times, and they brought in, I can't remember who they brought in, won national championship at Georgia.
That was JT Daniels.
That JT Daniel was the guy that went to WVU.
Okay.
People out of Oregon State were complaining on what JT Daniel was asking. He wanted a rental house that was big enough for him and his family to come in. He wanted somewhere around 500 grand and wanted free airline tickets for his family to fly to every game. Oregon State said that's too rich. I don't know exactly what WVU settled at, but that's what what was offered to Oregon State. I heard that he went to WVU for $475. He had a nice rental house out at Cheat Lake. I do know that. I don't know the amount of money. I know he had a nice rental house, and I know that they paid for his family to fly into all games, like even road games.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got injured again. So went to Rice. Well, finished up his time at Rice. Like I said, he was one of those guys that never lost a game, but then got injured. And from that point on, it went downhill.
Oh, it really went down to hell after him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, in the World of College Football, it's crazy stuff and crazy tactics to get recruits, especially the recruits that, are blowing up, the internet. They're like,
yes,
oh my gosh.
Like, the quarterback there at Miami.
Carson Beck.
Yeah, Beck. Rumor was that he signed a $4 million NIL deal to go to Miami. That number doesn't sound right.
No, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah,
Just
because
his girlfriend lived in Miami too.
Yeah. He's from Jacksonville, by the way. So from Athens, Georgia to Miami, Jacksonville is about the midway point. So let's get right down to it. It probably wasn't 4 million. It might have been maybe $1 million and change, and then whatever company with that NIL, if he turns pro or whatever, he'll end up getting residuals from that. But it wasn't completely $4 million. You'll sit there and see the same thing with like an NFL guy. They'll sign like a 5-year, let's say 5-year, $100 million. Well, don't look at that number. Look at what his signing bonus was. That's the only money that's really guaranteed out of it. So let's say his signing bonus was $50,000. $50 million. This is the NFL I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you see a guy 5-year, $100 million. What realistically whatever their bonus was, because nothing's guaranteed in NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way the contracts go.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's true, Daniel. It's true. If somebody says like, okay, Georgia signs this guy for $4 million, $5 million. Yeah. And it's like, okay, they got set. Okay, this kid, this school is willing to pay, let's just say a ridiculous number.
Yeah, I mean, there is ridiculous numbers that are out there, but
I feel like Arch Manning's contract was a little ridiculous.
Well, okay, let's back up here on what they were talking about with Arch Manning. Arch Manning also was doing commercials with his dad, his granddad, his uncles. So the fact that it's all wrapped into that. So let's say that I want to say it was Aflac,
It was
where
Affleck.
yeah, but Aflac had Shadur Sanders, um,
His dad.
his dad, and his brother, and I can't remember his brother's name, in an
Shiloh.
Shiloh, yeah, Shiloh, in that commercial. So guess what? That counted towards their NIL, but guess who they really wanted in the commercial?
Daddy.
They wanted Prime. So that's just how things work. Uh, you're looking at what was that? I remember wasn't last year's tournament term the year before. Every other commercial in the tournament, men's tournament, was a Caitlin Clark commercial.
Yup.
She had one for State Farm, one for AT&T, and I can't remember the third
Coke.
one. Huh?
No, Gatorade.
Gatorade, yeah. So she was in every commercial going, and they're like, oh, well, she's making blank, blank, blank with NIL. Well, what she's making is legitimate because you're looking at she actually has commercial deals with commercial entities. She has a deal with State Farm. She has a deal with Gatorade. She has a deal with AT&T. Guess what? That's what NIL was supposed to be set up for. Now you're looking at, and I brought this up before, that they want to say, okay, well, you can't go over $600 on these deals without reporting it. And it's like, well, let's say insert name of linebacker, and he does a really good game, and let's say the Ford dealership right down the road wants him to go there and sign autographs, pays him $500 up front, pays him $500 while he's there, and pays him another $500, $1,500 total. How is that divvied out? Is that divvied out as one $1,500 deal or three $500 deals?
Right. No, and it's like now that the world of college football's changed to that, it's
Yep.
like, oh God, what has it gone to? A money empire.
Well, it's always been about the money. And I got a friend of mine, and I talked about in the short, talking about he's like, oh, there's no loyalty in sports anymore. It's like there's never been loyalty in sports. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's the only thing that kept loyalty in college athletics is the fact that you had to sit out 1 year unless you were going to grad school from transferring. Once that transfer rule changed, everything went out the window.
Mm-hmm. And that's where when the transferring rules started happening, it's like,
Yeah.
I can make more money here. And it's like, see ya, I'm gone. Yeah, and college is all changing. It's crazy, and it's gone. In my opinion, downhill. That I could be wrong. I could be crazy, or you know.
I mean, I'm old. So I remember that you had the game of the week, and maybe you had a game on CBS, you had a game on NBC, or not NBC, you had a game on ABC, you had a game on CBS. ESPN was barely existed, so they weren't showing games. Now I can watch any game from anywhere in the world on my computer.
Right.
It's great. I was like the high school I went to in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia. I'm watching their football games. I'm watching their basketball games. I can watch anything just due to the fact that I've got an internet connection. They do too.
Yep.
So the world has changed, and the way that you used to be able to consume media has changed. It's all so with everything that's changed, it's gotten better, but also, like I said, you've always had big money teams. You've always had an Ohio State. You've always had an Alabama. You've always had a Michigan that had more money and more sway and was able to do this with recruits.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true, and sometimes you can never understand that. You know, it is what it is, and it will never change in a
No,
million years.
no. And like I said, same friend, he was like, well, now these schools can pay these players more. And it's like, well, okay, let's back up here. Even before all this, how many recruiting battles was WVU winning against Michigan, against Ohio State, against Penn State?
Mm-hmm.
Because they all recruit the same areas in Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I mean, they all recruit those same areas.
Yeah.
WVU might, out of 10, WVU might get one. And that's just because there was something wrong with the guy that Ohio State said, we'll have you as preferred walk-on, but WVU would give him a scholarship.
Right.
And that's just how the world's always worked. You just have to accept it. You just have to move on. You just have to say, this is how you fit in college football.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to the college football player, to the top 4 seed. Number 1, Indiana. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Texas Tech.
Yes.
Now that we're down to the 4 good teams in college football right now, it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to wait and see because Ohio State's on a bye week since they're number 2.
Correct.
And we can pull it up in the playoff sketch. But I think we can do that for another episode on Sunday. And I was gonna ask Nate on a good day if there's like a Sunday we can all do it, like you, Nate, and myself, and then have a few.
I don't know how busy Nate is on Sundays. Mo and I know is very busy on Sundays because he's got his own show that starts in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, him and Rock and Rant are going through every note that they can and pulling up every single crybaby thing that they saw from Notre Dame today.
Oh, especially Indiana fans.
Not as much Indiana fans, but they're going to dunk on Notre Dame heavy tonight.
Yep.
And I'm there for it.
Yep. And I think we can all agree from the Big 12 and the Big 10 that Notre Dame does not deserve to be in the playoffs.
Well, here's the thing. They lost. Everybody forgot week 1, they lost to Miami.
And then week 2, they lost to Texas A&M.
They were awful week. Week 3, they lost to A&M. It was the first time since 1989, Michigan, that an 0-2 team stayed in the top 25. And that only happened because the words Notre Dame were wrote on the front of their jerseys.
And also the Notre Dame logo were written on there. But anyways, folks, I do appreciate Daniel. Dan, I do appreciate you coming on, sir.
Anytime. Let me know when you need me.
Yes, sir. And like I said, guys, please go check out Daniel Gygax on the College Football Mafia and check him out on Twitter and social media at the other Gygax. Daniel, whenever you and Mountaineer fans decide to come back on, I'm going to be back on hopefully this Friday and Sunday. That's exclusively the days because Saturday. Well, actually, this Saturday I'll be doing a show as well. So Saturday, if you guys want to come on and hang out with me and chit chat, and
I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing next Saturday. I can probably do. I know Friday is a no. I'm picking my daughter up from college. She's going to school at UC Davis, so I'm picking her up Friday.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shows, so it'll be
Okay.
always. But
I'll let you know. Sunday I can do, but I'll let you know on Friday, Saturday.
okay. And like I said, guys, please check out the other guy gags on social media. Dan from the College Football Mafia. It is always a pleasure and an honor speaking to you, sir. And you can tell the people again where to subscribe to find you.
College Football Mafia.
And you know this is, and if you make a short on Monday and mention my name with the conversation, just make sure you say, "Hey, Notre Dame fans." There's an Ohio State fan at least says we can all agree that we don't like you.
Well, here's the thing. Whenever I do those shorts, unless it's breaking news, then everything I usually will make notes for about 3 or 4 different topics, pick through them. The ones, probably one's a stinker, one semi-appropriate. Then it's like, then I'll fill out like the rest of the notes for 2 of them, and then I'll pick one. Then sometimes I'll record both of them anyway,
Yeah.
and send them in. Say, hey, just whenever you guys want to put these up, put them up. So,
Well, I mean, I'm just throwing my hat in the ring just as a little idea to say, like, hey Notre Dame, y'all suck.
well, I'm not going to dunk on Notre Dame in my short, and the reason why is everybody's dunking on them.
Right.
Everybody's talking about the college football playoff. So I'm going to do something different, a little different, just so it beats the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
because everybody's dunking on their, like in what is it? In about an hour, you're going to hear Moen and Rock and Rant just absolutely dunk on Notre Dame left, right, and sideways, and I'm going to love it.
Oh, you're not the only one who's going to be there tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but yeah, Daniel, I appreciate it as always, and it's always an honor. Like I said, guys, a Mountaineer fan, and if you are a Mountaineer fan, follow Dan and the College Football Mafia for all your questions, needs. He's there for any questions you guys got. Dan, I appreciate you always. I'm sorry I can't show my face. My computer camera sucks, and I think my computer came from Michigan. And it won't show Ohio State fans' face that's wearing his high school mater team stuff that I still have. But Dan, always an honor, and I will catch you the next time on the channel, and obviously on here on the Caden the Diesel Freak College Football Show. Later, Dan.
Bye.
That was Daniel Gygax, the College Football Mafia. Thank you again to Daniel Gygax. It's always a pleasure, sir. You know how much I respect your fan base. As always, ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up the College Football Show. I want to say thank you again for everybody coming on. Please give it a like, subscribe, and be sure to follow me at K the Diesel Freak on YouTube, K the Diesel Freak on Twitter. As always, OHIO, go Bucks, and there's one more thing I do got to say to that I can entirely say. Hold on here. Hold on here, folks. I know it's in here, folks. Give me 1 second. In the words of my friends and Thad,
Oh, we don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. We're from Ohio. We're from Ohio. We're from Ohio. Oh, we don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, the whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. We're from Ohio. We don't give a damn for the whole. It's a hole. It's a dirty, rotten hole. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. We're from Ohio. We're from Ohio. O-H. We're from Ohio. I-O. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. The whole state of Michigan. The whole state of Michigan. We don't give a damn for the whole state of Michigan. We're from O to hell with the not so valiant green, white, Smarties uptight. We're from Ohio. Our honor defend we will state of Michigan. We're from O to hell with the not so valiant green, white, Smarties uptight. We're from Ohio. Our honor defend we will fight to the end. We